Hey guys, this is Drax, back with another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video, and this time I'll be showing you how to dominate in Starfighter Assault. So this mode is a fair amount different from the old Fighter Squadron mode we had on Battlefront 1. The controls are similar in a way, but there are quite a few differences. The mode was completely overhauled by Criterion, it was designed by them, and I've got to say it's miles better. I went back to play on the old game, which I used to enjoy, and after only one game I wanted to come straight back to Battlefront 2. That is how much better this mode is now. Now some players have told me that they used to do well in Fighter Squadron, but they are having trouble in Starfighter Assault. So here's some tips and tricks including star cards that should help you guys out a bit. So let's start with sensitivity. I play on PC with a mouse and keyboard, but this may be a helpful tip for all, so it's worth trying. I reduced mine down to 15% with mouse response and precision on 50%, so pretty much what I'm saying with this one is lowering your sensitivity should allow you to position your aim in the aiming circle a bit easier. Sensitivity is always my number one tip in shooters, so that might help a few of you out. The rest of the tips focus more on actual gameplay, so I'm going to fire them off here. Number one is to focus on enemy players and not the AI. AI normally don't do much damage, but they do know how to dodge, so can sometimes keep you occupied for long enough for an actual player to get on your tail, and then that player will normally take you out fast. So that's why it's better to go for players first. Once the vicinity is clear, you can take out a few AI. Number two is to look for hero ships in need of help. Often you will see swarms of enemies on the tail of a friendly hero. They need your help, and this also presents an opportunity for you. Get behind the bunch for a load of kills. Number 3 is to fight in and around obstacles. Going at a load of enemies in open space will usually get you killed quickly. I find being near obstacles helps a lot, as normally by the time you have killed a target, an enemy will be on your tail. Fighting near obstacles gives you more of a chance to get away. Number 4 is to get in close before firing off missiles. If your aim is not so good, or you just want to make the most of what your Starfighter has to offer, you probably want to use your missiles at some time. Quite often I see players firing them off from such great range, and this makes them easy to predict and dodge. Basically, as a missile gets close, they just slow right down and do a hard right or left. To get the missiles to hit, I advise getting right up behind your opponent and firing it from there. Then they have no time to react and are eliminated quickly. And finally, the 5th tip is to destroy turrets. These are worth a good amount of points, and they also do a small amount of damage to you when they are up and you get within range of them, so taking them out helps you out in 2 ways. So that's my top 5 tips, but now let's take a detailed look at the Starfighters and I'll talk you through strategy and cards with each one. I've decided to split this into 4 sections: Fighter, Interceptor, Bomber and Hero, that being each type of ship available. So starting with a Fighter, these are built for damage output. They have some resistance to damage themselves, but with this one you really want to be dealing the damage on other fighters. Take out targets quick and move on to the next one. It doesn't have the best maneuverability, but it makes up for it with a bit more health. So for the Fighter, I recommend these cards. Tune Lasers increases primary weapon damage, taking out targets quicker. And then you're going to want to match that up with Reinforced Hull, and you'll also die a bit slower. This will sometimes give you the chance to get away, or at least buy yourself a few seconds to repair and move towards other friendly fighters who might want to help you out. So for the last card, depending on what fighter you are in, I either go Repair Systems or Fighter Weapon Systems. The repair systems will start your health regen faster, or choose the weapon systems to increase your central ability damage. The card only reads laser barrage damage here, but I'm sure it affects turret gunner and quad laser cannon damage as well. If you notice, some come with an astromech repair and others come with an afterburner in their first slot, so I would advise basing your card decision around these. If you want to play to strengths, go for the weapon systems on the TIE Fighter and Vulture Droid, and choose the repair systems or defensive upgrade on the other 3. You can also play to weaknesses by giving fighters who don't have an astromech the ability to repair faster. The Fighter is pretty good at dogfights, hence the name, but not as good as the Interceptor in open areas, so I'd advise fighting enemies near cover and obstacles if possible. A hit and run tactic works well using allies to cover you. If you can get behind multiple opponents, the Fighter can make quick work of any ship including heroes, but make sure to pick off that guy at the back first and move from target to target for quick eliminations. So next we have the Interceptor, and this is your small and agile starfighter built for dogfighting. It has low health, so relies on its turn speed to stay alive when engaged. It does however pack quite a punch and can dispatch enemy fighters quickly. The number 1 card here is Elite Pilot. As I said, the Interceptor relies on its turn speed, so being able to boost that means you can stand a chance when an opponent is on your tail. Being able to flip the odds means quite often you come away from a situation where you normally would have died. Say you are in a fighter or bomber. You see, with the Interceptor, the faster you can turn, the faster you can get on your opponent's tail. but you may want to adjust your sensitivity if you like playing the Interceptor a lot to compensate for the additional turn speed the Elite Pilot card supplies. The second card I go for is Fire Control Cycler. I choose this over Tune Lasers, as with a higher rate of fire you of course do damage quicker anyway. Firing faster also means shooting faster moving targets is easier too. This does of course mean heat builds faster, so for the third card I go with Advanced Capacitors, which provides a heat reduction of up to 40%. The Interceptor is my favourite due to its ability to outmaneuver a fighter or bomber. It's definitely a glass cannon, but quite rewarding when you get the hang of it. Truth be told, I normally stay alive longer in an Interceptor because you can dodge and reverse nearly any situation. It's also smaller, in some cases meaning you can squeeze through some gaps to escape your pursuer. And then we have the Bomber. This has the most health of the three and is the best at destroying obstacles. It turns slower than the other two, but you can still take out enemies with ease once they are in your sights. The three cards I mainly use here are Reinforced Hull, giving the Bomber a bit more survivability, Advanced Torpedoes, so you hit enemies and objectives harder, taking them down faster, and for the third card I go for Bomber Defensive Upgrade. Now I used to run Tune Lasers providing more damage, but I find the Defensive Upgrade to be the more useful card. If you're attacking with the Bomber you usually get electronic countermeasures, and when defending you get the Astral Mech Repair. Both are great abilities and are essential for staying alive, so to upgrade these a bit via that star card is definitely worth doing in my mind. The Bomber gives you more survivability over the other two, but is not as fast and not as good at turning, so essentially is not your go-to dogfighter. It does however pack a punch when hitting objectives, and via the use of its abilities can deal with or get away from pursuers. Hitting the objectives will give you plenty of battle points and normally win a game for your team when attacking, so it's my go-to on harder maps like the Death Star debris above Endor, where you have to take out that Mon Calamari cruiser. So now we have hero ships, and here I just want to give you a few tips to stay alive and keep the kill streaks going. As you probably know by now, hero ships go down pretty quickly, with the exception of the Millennium Falcon, that being both Han and Rey's version. These do however suffer with their turn speed, relying on friendlies to get fighters off their tail, so if you do get a few guys chasing you and you are in a Falcon, do not spin, as this generally makes you an easy target. Instead, fly towards a group of friendly fighters if possible. The Falcon is a disc shape, so is harder to hit when being chased. The rest of the hero ships have faster turn speed, even Boba Fett with his Relentless Pursuer card, so you can normally spin around and get on the tail of your pursuer. Since there is a milestone in game that actually says take out 25 hero ships with a fighter ship class, you are of course going to be targeted. Your best asset in this case is any star card that aids in health regeneration, giving you more time to try and fight or evade those chasing you. Some ships don't have good health but can still be made tankier via certain cards, and you are normally able to boost their turn rate to aid with evasion. So here's an example of a few cards that most hero ships have that work well for me. Some have this one, increasing the turn speed. Most have this one, reducing the delay before health regen begins. And others have stronger cards that can practically repair them all the way back up to full health. Notice I'm focusing on staying alive more than any cards that output damage, because hero ships generally already do great damage. You could up that damage, but I'd rather stay alive and keep streaks going. So that's the guide right there. Hopefully it has been of some help to you all watching. I'll be back with more gameplay updates, guides and tips soon. So as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.